Good morning and welcome. Good morning to all of our participants. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to share in today's webinar. My name is Gail Welch, Business Development Officer here with PAYCE Digital. Before we get started, there are just some housekeeping matters I wish to share with you. The session is being recorded. To ensure good quality, we ask that all mics remain muted. Questions for the guests can be typed in the question and answer section. Questions will be posed to our guests throughout the webinar, so we want to encourage you to send in your questions. The webinar recording will be shared with all registrants after the session. So it is my pleasure to welcome all of our participants to the first webinar in the PAYCE Digital 2022 series. The theme, Let's Talk Digital, is designed to give impetus to some critical operational areas to give critical operational areas as businesses begin to reposition in a new global environment. This new business environment compels us to have a digital first mindset, which deals with much more than just the use of technology. It focuses on how businesses plan to engage with their customers across multiple channels. Furthermore, the digital first mindset is about going beyond doing a few things digitally to embracing a change in thinking and function to allow for greater efficiency, productivity, profitability by utilizing technologies and processing systems. Today's webinar will focus on the importance of engaging with customers to get their messages about products and services out across multiple channels using the traditional media such as television and radio, as well as social media. The question we believe to be important and kept top of mind during this session is, how can I engage with my customers? My guests are two professionals in both the traditional and digital media. I welcome Ms. Alicia Kingston. Alicia is the Sales and Marketing Specialist at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation with responsibility for brand management, corporate sponsorships, sales strategies, and various marketing activities. With over 10 years experience, Alicia has assisted in increasing the brand equity for the media brands of CBC through the establishment of major partnerships such as successful initiatives such as Q in the Community, the Socatologist campaign, and the ever popular the Stand Home Party. Among her greatest strengths are creativity, drive, and leadership, and she thrives on challenges, particularly those that help to expand company reach, growth of business, brand health, and personal ability. She holds a bachelor's degree in international business and a master's degree in project management from the UWI, and has stayed informed on new developments through recently completed courses in digital marketing, brand management, and research. An experienced customer service expert, Alicia has a very warm personality and is focused on helping clients achieve their advertising objectives. Welcome and good morning, Alicia.
Good morning and thank you.
My second guest is Mr. Noel Harris. Noel is a sales and marketing manager with Trend Media Barbados since 2017. His background and experience in tourism, marketing, sales, event planning, and execution, as well as customer relations. He holds a bachelor's in science in tourism and marketing. He is Google certified in search, display ads, Google Apps, and video. Welcome, Noel Harris.
Hi, Gil. Good morning to everyone. And Gil, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I mean, I have been just waiting for today's session, totally excited about the information we are going to share and the value that we will add to the various participants who are joining us here on this webinar. So let's get right into it. Alicia, I want to start with you. And I want to ask, how has the current crisis changed the approach or the philosophy of traditional media houses, such as CBC, in relating to its various audience, whether it's the listeners, the TV viewers, and definitely your advertisers?
Thanks, Gail, and thanks for having me once again. The pandemic, one of the positives coming from the pandemic really is that persons turned right back fully to traditional media. You know, persons were at home, persons were working from home. Advertisers needed to get their messages across to that mass audience and not just a small targeted group. So persons had more time to listen to radio, to watch television. It became your companion throughout the last 2 years. And really and truly, we had an uptake then in viewership, audience listening, and advertiser sales. Although budgets were cut, then you had those people needing to get that message across. So they chose radio and TV.
Wow. And that is really interesting. I know we enjoyed the stand-home party for sure. Noel, the digital marketing, was it immune, or is it immune from the changes that the crisis has brought?
I would say no, it hasn't. Like with many industries, the COVID-19 pandemic resulted in a lot of uncertainty across multiple industries, and marketing and digital marketing in a whole was not excluded from that. As Alicia alluded to, many companies significantly cut budgets. They tried to consolidate a lot of what they were doing in-house. But what has come about within the last 12 to 18 months, I would say, however, is that people are now coming back to digital. It forced a lot of companies to look more at being contactless, looking at technology and how can we, reduce the interaction that we would have normally while still being profitable. So persons are now looking at technology and digital marketing in a more strategic way. They're not just looking to tick a box. They're looking at having cohesive step-by-step campaigns with a key goal in mind over a long period of time. And we here at Trend Media, we've been here to help our clients along that journey, from conceptualization of campaigns to execution to reporting, which leads them to now make positive and informed decisions about their business moving forward.
Excellent. Well, my following on from that, the purpose small businesses use the various media channels is really to persuade a mass set of people to buy and utilize their product and service. Navigating the crisis was very unpredictable. How should businesses utilize digital channels to start diving or driving growth again? I'll start with you on this question, Noel.
Sure, no worries. I would first advise, as I do with all of my clients here at Trend, just take a step back and think of digital, like I said previously, not just something that you do just to tick a box. Think about it in a more strategic way. Look at how over a course of a few weeks or months, how can you execute strategic digital campaigns in order to achieve your overall goals of your campaign, your overall objectives, your KPIs. And just look at, as well, understanding your customer. A lot of cases, we have this preconceived notion of of who our customers are. And sometimes by executing digital campaigns, we learn that our customer base, or the persons that use our products and services, are a little bit different than we would have previously thought. So looking at the data, by running campaigns, you get to see the data, who's interacting with your brands, who's engaging with your brands on all the multiple platforms, seeing and understanding who they are. And then you can kind of start now to, okay, I understand who my customer is. I know who I am as a business. How can I now utilize these digital channels to get where I want to go?
Excellent point. Excellent point. What about, Alicia, I would just extend that question to you from a traditional media perspective.
And Noel is absolutely correct in understanding your customer coming out of a pandemic where personal budgets have changed and persons are going to look at their spending a lot more. You need to understand who your customer is, and this is not always who you think that customer is. You may have a product that you're targeting at the under 30s, and you may say the under 30s are those persons on social media, but research has proven that the over 50s are very active on social media too. And that's where radio and television comes in, because we have that mass audience, we have that wide audience. And when you advertise to that mass audience, you have an opportunity when you advertise and you forward them to your digital platform, then to understand only this person is going to use this product, or only the other person is going to use this product. But we don't get that. Your audience is a wide audiences. We're more youthful people. So therefore, it's a merger really of both platforms to use the mass audience. And once you send them to your digital platform, because that platform allows you then to get the demographics of who your customer is, so you can better plan and target for that customer.
Well, I mean, those are perfect entrance into our presentations, especially as we look at the increase of both the digital channels as well as the traditional channels. And we're going to start with you, Noel, as you share your presentation from Trend Media. I just want to remind our participants, please go ahead and place and type your questions in the question and answer section.
Gail, just confirming you can see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, fantastic. So I'll just jump right in. So thanks, guys, everyone, for joining. Again, appreciate you taking the time out your day to join. So just going to run through a quick presentation, focusing around the question that Gail would have posed: how can MSMEs utilize digital channels in a manner that can drive growth in 2022? So just jumping quick in. So this slide kind of just gives persons an idea of what the digital landscape in Barbados is. The penetration rate might be surprising to some, but it's been steadily increasing over the last 5 to 10 years. You have more persons who have an average of 3 devices at any given time. You have persons who have multiple social media accounts across multiple platforms. So the digital landscape in Barbados is alive and well, and there's much opportunity for you to reach a large number of persons if that's what your goal is, or to find who your niche target audience is within this broad community of persons that are, again, on the internet, consuming data and using social media platforms. One of the main considerations when you as a small, micro or medium enterprise is understanding as well the different channels that they are available and that each of them need a different approach. Social media requires a different approach than to Google and programmatic. These platforms are essentially when you serve ads online digitally. We at Trend Media help our clients to target specific audiences at the right place at the right time using Google and programmatic, which are these digital platforms that allow for ads to be served in multiple ways. SMS as well, one of the platforms that we use here, leveraging our partnership with Digicel Barbados, allows persons to send out marketing communications to Digicel customers via the SMS platform, which again, another channel that you need to have a think about in terms of what approach do you need to have for SMS. Might be different to social media, might be different to Google and programmatic. Another key consideration as well is, do you need to be on all these channels? Not every company needs to be on every channel at any given time. It's about understanding first your business, who you are, what you want to say, what your goals are, what your KPIs are, and as well, who your customer is. Where is your customer going to engage with you the most? On which platform? What do you want them to do on these multiple platforms? What you want them to do or see on Facebook might be totally different to Instagram, which is a more visual representation of social media, versus Pinterest or WhatsApp. Another key thing to keep in mind in terms of when you're looking at which platform to utilize is that not any of these digital platforms is a one size fits all. There isn't one magical approach that you can do that you'll be successful no matter what. Again, it calls for strategic thinking and understanding these different platforms. And again, knowing your customer, knowing what will work for you. And it's going to be a trial and error, which I'll get to a little bit later. Again, we're just reiterating the point of understanding these digital platforms and understanding as well the different platforms and the proposition of each of them. Facebook, you can do a little bit different things in terms of actual native content. You can do a little bit different things. Again, Instagram is a little bit more image-based as well. And again, they call for different strategies for each of them. And understanding your customer and knowing how they will engage with each strategy is going to be key in terms of moving you along this digital journey. Clearly defining the goals and objectives of your campaigns are vital as well. You don't just want to run a campaign ad hoc. Even at the smallest level, you are a person that does hair, you're a person that does nails, you're a person that bakes cakes. When you go onto these platforms, have a goal in mind for what you want to do. You don't always have to be a hard sell. There are multiple different ways that you can use social media and the digital platforms to add value to persons' lives and essentially make their lives a little better without, trying to convert each and every one to a sale. In terms of where to start, there's just some key points that you need to look at. And again, these are easy, actionable points for anyone at any level of their business or enterprise that they can do. One of my colleagues, Mr. Rashid Jervan from Trend TT, he had a great line that really resonated with me. Hope is not a strategy. Going on these platforms and hoping that you're going to be successful isn't a strategy that will work a lot of the time. There are some success stories where persons will succeed, but overall, have at least some idea of what you want to do, what you want to achieve, what's the messaging. Next point is utilizing the information provided by the digital platforms. And all these digital platforms, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Google, programmatic, at Trend Media, we assist our customers in understanding these platforms and utilizing the information provided. For example, with Google and programmatic, when we are setting up campaigns and we essentially upload the website that person want to read or want to be redirected to, these platforms give us suggestions in terms of targeting parameters based on the content, the look and feel of their website. So lean on the information provided as well that these platforms provide again, they want you to succeed because it leads to them getting more budget. So utilize within reason, of course. Every company is going to be different. Every campaign is going to be different. You don't need to take heed of every single suggestion, but use it essentially as a guideline to help you on the journey of your digital transformation. Defining your ideal customer. Have a think about what's the best case scenario of a customer, who they are, what they look like, what they do, what they engage with. Think about the value of that customer from a monetary standpoint. What would you like that customer to spend from a day to a week to a month to a year to a lifetime? What does your ideal lifetime customer look like? Once you have an idea of who that customer is, then you can start to, okay, mesh your ideal customer with who you are as a business to get that cohesive symbiosis that you want. In terms of the content that you're looking to provide to persons, there are three main things that you can look at. You want to engage with persons, you want to capture them, you want to attract them, you want to make them feel some feeling or connotation. You want to provide, you want to inform them of something, and as well educating these people. When you can provide these three things, it really helps persons to feel more trust to your brand, and as well, again, in hopes of converting them into sale. Going back to my previous point, sales-driven communication, not every post, not every campaign needs to be sales-driven communication. Sometimes you just want to entertain persons. Sometimes you just want to make them feel good. COVID-19 has, unfortunately, cast a kind of doom and gloom over a lot of stuff. And sometimes people see ad campaigns and go to companies and brands to just feel a little bit better. I know I myself, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, one of my favorite places to go is Beijing Twitter to get a laugh. So think about those things in terms of your brand. Not everything has to be sales driven. Sometimes you can just provide something fun, something heartwarming to your customer base, whoever they are. In terms of content, what considerations should you think about when you're creating or conceptualizing your content? One of the key things to understand is that attention spans of our customers are extremely short, and it has gotten shorter over the last couple of years and will continue to do so. So one thing you want to do is to figure out ways to capture people. Sometimes you only have 5 to 10 seconds to really capture someone and hold their attention for potentially a longer time. One of the things that we've been seeing have been working at trend over the last few years in our ad ops team and in our sales as well is that video works. The data tells us that video works. You can do a lot more with it. You can do a lot more with it. You can be very creative with it as well. And the data shows that it works in capturing people. It helps with ad recall, meaning that when people see a video and it resonates with them, they can recall the content of the ad, the brand more easily. Using multiple assets. Not just showing as well that you're using video, but you can use as well imagery. You can also use native content using word or copy. At Trend Media, we leverage our partnership with Loop News to run native content for clients, whereby it's an ad, but it's not really an ad. You can you can have situations where you sponsor an article, and Alicia will touch on that in terms of doing something similar with traditional as well. You can sponsor content, so you can do soft sells as well. So having a viable mix of, the soft sell, the video, the imagery, and where possible, obviously budgets will not always allow, you can have that marketing mix so that you can have different touch points at different levels of the sales funnel. Focus on one message at a time. Sometimes you want to cram too much into one ad campaign, one asset, one video, one still image. Think about focusing on one message at a time. If you're talking about your sales service, focus on that. If you're talking about your pricing, talk about that. but try not to misconstrue and jumble up everything into one message. It can get a little bit muddled there. Fail fast and fail often. This speaks towards testing. Don't be afraid to fail. You try something, it doesn't work, use it as a learning mechanism so that you can do better on the next campaign. Building continuously. Don't just start building campaigns from scratch every single time. Use the learnings from the previous campaign to help build on the next campaign. There are a lot of times, even with our partnership with PS Digital, where we run continuous campaigns for Kayleen and the team. Every year, they use the reports that we would provide to help inform their decisions about the content that they do, the creative that they use, the colors, the wording. So always look to build on your previous campaign. And consider as well ad frequency. Ad frequency meaning how many times one person sees an ad on a 24-hour period. A lot of times we are bombarded by ads from one company and we get ad fatigue. We get tired of seeing these ads. So a good middle ground to start is between 3 to 5 ads per person per 24 hours. That's a good place to start, where you can still have that fine balance between having your ad shown multiple times to hopefully convert that person, but still not wearing them out over the long haul. So that, in a nutshell, is my presentation. Again, thanks for everyone for joining. Thanks for the Gail and the PAYCE team for having me.
Thank you so much, Noel. Excellent information. I do have a question. How important is boosting posts to enhance reach?
So boosting posts is just another format on social media, apart from running a full-fledged campaign. So just to paint a picture for you. So at Trend, we run full-fledged campaigns where we will run an ad on a client's behalf, whereby you will see a sponsored post on a platform with a cohesive message throughout. And a boosting post is a situation where a client has posted something on their social media account, and we essentially try to get more reach and more traction for that post. So take it on a case-by-case basis. Again, this goes back to what I was saying in terms of understanding the goal of the campaign. If the goal of the campaign is to get awareness and reach for one particular post, then boosting posts is for you. If you want to have a more strategic execution, you can look at a full-fledged sponsored campaign. Both, we do here at Trend Media.
Thanks for that response, Noel. And I know there's a concern that because it seems and you would, as the expert, will direct me, before the kind of reach that a person or business would have with just making one post, it seems like that reach has been limited, and you are forced now to boost that post so that you can have a greater reach.
So a big part of that has happened, and COVID kind of helped with this, is that it forced persons to go more toward digital by being contactless. Excuse me. So you're having a lot of more companies that were never on social before are now on social, and that has kind of saturated the platforms in many instances where you're fighting with bigger companies for the same customer. So again, just posting something doesn't have the same reach. So that's where boosting posts, or again, doing a full-fledged paid social campaign can come in handy. Again, it's not going to be always attainable for everyone, but the great thing about digital and social is that it's easy to just get in. You can go on YouTube and watch a video. You can speak to me or anyone in the Trend Media team, both locally or regionally, if that is what your business operates in. And you can get the advice that you need in terms of, okay, this is my goal. How do I get here? I would like to use social media. Which social media platform is going to help me to achieve that goal? So again, taking advice from, us here at Trend, your family, your friends, to understand, okay, is this going to get the traction that I need it to, or do I need to have a rethink about it? So there's way more competition on these platforms, So, you have to think of it a bit more strategically than you once would.
We're going to get back into a little bit more of that, but I want to, in terms of drilling down into the content and how we should position to get noticed as small businesses. But I want to switch over to Alicia for her presentation in the area of traditional media and what they have been seeing coming out of this crisis. Over to you, Alicia.
Thank you so much. And good morning to everybody present here.
And while Alicia brings up her presentation, just want to, we do have them. The questions are coming in. Keep them coming, and we are going to, yes. Okay, so I do have some questions. We will take those after. I'll share these questions after Alicia's presentation, but please keep the questions coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gail. So, not sure what's happening here. Way, okay. So we're talking traditional media and the importance of being on that platform and making sure that you merge traditional media with your regular media. And hope you're seeing everything okay? Yeah.
We are seeing, you are not in presenters mode, but we are seeing your slides. You want to try it into presenters mode?
Not sure what's happening.
Of course, Murphy's Law would say that something technical would go wrong, but you're going to get it.
We're there now?
We are there. Excellent.
So thank you for bearing with me. As you said, Murphy's Law would cause those problems. So we're going to discuss what is advertising. And I am sure most of you have heard the term before. What is advertising? But advertising is the process of communicating a message to people about your product or your service. It creates awareness about your brand or product, and it drives either a desire for the product or purchase. We have types of advertising like wide advertising, which is mass advertising with CBC, and then you have the targeted narrow advertising. But research has proven that the best form of advertising is really the 360 version of advertising, because we want to address the audience you are not reaching. Where is your business? Who are you reaching? And more importantly, who are you not reaching when you choose one media of advertising? How many times have we been playing games on our phone and ads come up and we just wait to exit them very, very quickly, especially if you're playing a game or you've gone to watch something in particular and ads are rapidly coming up? We click the X button. So it means that persons are truly not getting exactly the message that you're putting out there, because sometimes those ads can be invasive when we just want to have, as Noel said, a good laugh, some good fun, but the message is pretty heavy that we're receiving. So digital advertising alone wouldn't work for you. You need to have a blended approach, and radio has remained relevant to listeners and has been a relentless force in radio plans and strategies for business. Radio gives you a mass appeal and has helped to survive and successfully competitive in the advent of music streaming. You don't listen to radio only on a radio. You listen to radio on your phone, you listen to radio via apps, you listen to podcasts. All of these are means and methods that people are now listening to radio, watching programs on YouTube, watching programs on TV8. These are now methods that are being used to get the message across. So radio is one of those things that are definitely positioned for the future. Well, social media, you go on social media sometimes, as I said, to have fun, you're bombarded with what's going on with the war, those heavy methods, and you just sometimes want music and entertainment. And when you're listening to music on the radio, when you hear an ad 90% of the time, you enjoy that ad. You laugh, especially if it's a jingle that is really, really fun. You realize you end up singing the jingle. And with that, your brand resonates in the listener's mind. And when required to purchase that product or get more information, they can then pull you up on digital media. Radio allows you, the marketer of your business, to know the demographics that's listening. And when I say that, in your radio campaign, as Noel mentioned before, when you say to them, find more information on my digital platform, radio gives you that mass audience of persons listening. And when you then send them to your digital platform, you get the demographics of those persons who are listening to you on radio and understand exactly who your customer is. It's really important to know who the customer is you're targeting. Many times we have products, as I would have said in my introduction, where we're saying this product is for a person, but because of society and how we are more youthful, or the need for a product for several people, that radio advertising and that those persons come to your social pages then tells you, oh, here's the person that's listening to use my product. Here's the person that's interested in using my product. So therefore, it's important to have a blended approach to your advertising campaigns. Blended approaches help you grow your business. The way to get started is to both use the media, social media, radio media, and TV. We've had clients, so we're speaking from proven track records, where we've had clients that have advertised on social media for a while and they've done well. The business is growing, they're making money. And when we introduce things like stay-at-home party, where we would have had several MSMEs participate in our stay-at-home party, it gave those brands the awareness on TV, where people were able to see their brands, and it gave them that awareness on radio as well. And from that, we have had several clients, Post Wireless World, Fruits AD Juices, several clients, Tech Gator, that have come back and said to us, radio and TV are still a very big force to reckon with. My business grew. There were persons that listened to radio and said, I heard on radio, you can do this or you can't do this. And they visited my business. How can I know that stay-at-home party is finished? Continue radio and TV advertising. So are there lots of interfaces to advertise? The answer is yes. This is because consumers are still craving for variety. As I said before, people are watching TV, people are listening to radio, people are on social media, people are every single where. And you want to reach your clients everywhere they are. And that blended approach is critical for that. You may wake up on mornings, you go through your social media, but when you get on the bus, when you get in your car, you're listening to radio, you have TV in the background, you're watching and listening to Morning Barbados as you get ready for work. The children are participating, and those are the mediums that you need to be to make sure that your brand is a brand that is known and purchased. Research shows that 67% of fast-growing small businesses use a multi-channel advertising approach. And according to Nielsen's survey, 59% of customers prefer to buy products from brands that are familiar to them. So therefore, you as an MSME needs to make sure that your brand is familiar to the audience. Radio does that just for you. I know that the perception of radio and TV advertising has come over as expensive. It's come over as, oh, I'm a small business person. That's not for me. But here at CBC, we have plans, as I mentioned before, things like our Stand Home Party, radio shows, and Morning Barbados that are targeted for MSMEs, the community. We build packages that are very special for you and allow you to get mileage from your dollar, because we understand you're building to grow to that multi-million-dollar company that we want for you as well. So we build those packages for you, and all advertising doesn't have to be a recorded script. As Noel correctly said in his presentation, sometimes it's a soft message, like a time check. This time check to you is brought to you by Beauty Supplies, where we care for your skin. It's not necessarily saying go out there and buy, but it's telling people this is a place where I can get beauty supplies for my skin. It could be from a juice, it could be just a healthy message, or it could be a campaign that simply tells people what is your action point. What do you want them to do when they hear your ad? And it doesn't always call for a multi-production. We can have scripts where we can sit with you, we can plan, we can write out the information that you need your audience to hear. We have packages that get you into recorded TV ads, and your social media ads can then be converted to be used on TV as well. Here at CBC, we have 3 radio stations, 98.1, this is our youthful station that has a huge following on social media, Q100.7 FM, which is targeted at our over 50s, and 63% of that audience is also on social media. And 94.7 FM, which is a mid-range target at the 25 to 50 plus. And this also has a very niche market of persons who love to support the Barbadian community. They love every single thing Barbados. They want to know what is happening here, who's selling in Barbados, and how can we support entrepreneurship in Barbados. All of our stations are very interactive. And as I said, they all have social media followings, and digital, radio, and TV is that winning combination to grow your business. So as I close, in summary, I just want to say, happening in the world today, 40% of people are giving budget to digital marketing. The other 60 is to the traditional forms. I can't stress enough how important it is to use both methods of media, digital and traditional. They both have a purpose. They both have a very important reach for you. And as small businesses, when you notice, there are companies that have grown and they've never stopped advertising, whether it's on radio, whether it's on social, they just advertise through all medias, because the only way to continue to grow your business is to offer for new clientele and remind people of your brand, product, and services. So therefore, there definitely needs to be a merger between the two, and to get that business where you need to get it. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Alicia. Very comprehensive, both presentations. And I really appreciate the how you broke it down. And from us here at PAYCE Digital, we are really pleased to have partnered with both of you who are our strategic partners. And we do have a special announcement to share at the end of this session. So you need to stay with us right down to the end. We do have a special announcement to share. Yes, there is a question. This one came in just as Noel was wrapping up. And the question, Noel, is, thank you, Noel. I wanted to ask about the frequency of the ads. Some small businesses expect conversion with a single ad in 1 month. To balance budgets and ad fatigue, what is the recommended minimum for a small business?
So every business is going to be a little bit different. What I would say is, and every pocket is going to be a little bit different in terms of ad spend. So I would look at it in a sense of what can you afford to invest into an ad campaign, but try to use that money as strategically as possible. There are some cases where we run campaigns for clients for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So we're very flexible with our clients in terms of what they have available. And again, a lot of it is proving concept and proving the platform. Regarding to ad frequency, I would say around that 3 to 5 cap per day is good. Depending on the platform you're running on, there's some platforms where you can afford to take that up a bit. I would say with Facebook, you might have a little bit more leverage because there's a lot more going on Facebook and Instagram than, for instance, Twitter. So think about that 3 to 5 with those with some platforms, and then you can maybe tweak it about 5 to 10 with other platforms. But again, regarding budget, every company is going to be different. Every business is going to be different. Think about what you can afford to run for a test campaign just to try to see what you can do. But think about it in a strategic sense. As the question said, you can't expect to do convergence for a one-off campaign. Alicia can speak to this as well. A continuous message as well is always good so that you can keep your brand, your product, your service top of mind, so that when persons are considering a purchase of a product or service, they have you in mind.
Thanks, Noel. And I want to go right into this other question for both of you. What signs are you seeing that the business culture, because I know our business culture has a lot to do with how we engage in advertising platforms. What are you seeing in terms of the business culture evolving into understanding that their customers are engaging and accessing information in multiple forms, which mean that they need multiple reach?
We're noticing that definite trend of persons understanding that customers are really everywhere and that there's no ideal time to reach the customers. So therefore you need that multi-channel approach where early in the morning or in the middle of the day, it depends really on what persons are doing. So you need to have that presence on social media, you need to have a presence on radio, and add TV to that as well, because persons are sourcing information from several platforms right now, traditionally authenticates it, because digitally, when you go on a digital platform, sometimes you can be hacked and messages can be screwed the other way. So therefore, persons understand to make my brand authentic, I definitely need to be on multiple channels.
Just going on from what Alicia would have touched on, as she said, you have people consuming multiple things on multiple platforms. Like I mentioned before, the average person has about 3 devices and are on at least 3 social media platforms at any given time. So having that blending approach along with digital and traditional to be at these multiple touch points at any given time, because as Alicia said, there is no real perfect time. Each individual customer has a different user journey in terms of how they interact with different platforms. So it's all about, again, with digital, you can use the different targeting parameters to reach those persons at where they are. So again, it's a case by case basis, but I would say overall, the blended approach, having your presence on multiple touch points at any given time is always the best way to move forward.
And thank you for that. Last year, and just picking up a point from Alicia in terms of security, last year we saw where are the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, went offline. It sent another shock to the fledgling business community that was trying to reopen in what was already an unprecedented year. What was the impact on these channels going offline, Noel?
So first, it caused a lot of panic for both customers and businesses. We use these platforms and technology has been integrated into our core everyday living. And most people, they use them on the day-to-day basis as part of their daily routine. So when these platforms went down for customers, it was panicky. For businesses, it was so as well, because there was that uncertainty in terms of getting your message out, people being able to communicate with your brand and you with your customer. So what I would say is to plan. With technology, is plan for the worst case. What if this happens again? What can you do? What are the other platforms that you can look at that would be viable in a time where something similar would happen? And how would you want your messaging to get out there? There were situations where that happened, and at Trend, we used our SMS platform to get our messaging out for clients to their customer base. So look at, alternative platforms. As Alicia will touch on her platforms as well. Try to have a plan in place again. Best case scenario and worst case scenario for what you can do if something like this happens again.
Thanks, Noel. And I mean, we are talking about the continuity of business. For the bigger businesses, we call it business continuity planning, but also for smaller business, that is why you're also introducing in the need to think beyond just the everyday operations. Another channel, and I'm going to flip this over to you, Alicia, another channel that has once been deemed expensive and to be considered for just the big businesses, which is the websites, or now, in Noel's, as Noel mentioned, a landing page for both of you. How important is this channel in today's environment, especially with what we've just experienced last year? And in terms of traditional media, Alicia, you can also go off air. So to be able to have another medium such as a website that you can still push messages through, I would like to hear your take on that.
Thank you, Gail. And again, I have to support Noel. We can't stress enough the importance of that blended and multi-channel approach. So therefore, you don't have to build necessarily your own website, but you can sponsor. Noel touched on it a bit in his presentation, where you can sponsor other websites. So therefore, you can sponsor news on a CBC website. You can sponsor that feed, because when social goes down, these are places that people everywhere, they go to the websites to get information still. So therefore, you can have your pop-up message there. And if you're, we're not sitting here saying, we know consistency and frequency can add up. So therefore, when you're making your plan, make your plan. I'm going to do Mondays. I'm going to sponsor a Monday motivational message that is seen on a website. So persons are familiar. Every Monday I go to that web page, I see your brand. I'm familiar with your brand. I want to purchase your brand. You're enticing me about your brand. You have a presence everywhere. So even with radio, even with social, you can have a Wednesday message on social. We're not saying to you, every single day you have to be there. We're saying to you, have a presence and have a multi-channel presence so that everybody reaches you. So when social goes down, you're on radio. When radio goes down, you're on the website. Highly unlikely that every single thing will go down together. And if that happens, something else is happening really and truly. But if you have that multi-channel approach, then your brand stands out and persons know about you and want to purchase your brand.
I have another question coming in. I have two questions coming in. I just love it. So are there opportunities for small businesses to combine their budgets to help in managing ad budgets for some radio or television promotions? That is for you, Alicia.
Absolutely, they can. And that will be part of the packaging that's going to be announced with PAYCE Digital, where you can get together with two of your entrepreneur colleagues, two of your small business colleagues, and say, let's purchase in half an hour together. I have the first 10 minutes. Business two has the next 10 minutes in the last business, and three people can be part of that and break that cost down. So for instance, if that cost was $300, each person puts in $100 and your cost has, smaller, but you're reaching that mass audience. You could do it the same way for social media, and I'm sure Noel will speak to how that can be done for the digital media as well.
Well, before this next question will definitely, actually, is a blend of both. When spending through digital mediums, there are matrices presented at the end of the campaign to gauge performance. Is there something similar for traditional media? And then Noel, you can speak to that for the digital media.
Yes, we have surveys allow us to know how many people are listening at a particular time slot. With TV, because we stream on YouTube some of our programming, we can definitely tell you immediately how many people would have watched that YouTube stream. We don't have the technology just yet that tells you real time how many people are actually watching the program or listening to the radio station at that particular time. But surveys that are conducted by independent persons are sometimes conducted by ourselves here at CBC, we can tell you, yes, our phones ring, funny enough, and that gives us to a gauge. I would have heard such and such a business advertising on your station, and I wanted to know more information. And then we pass on the information to that person because they've heard it here. So they call us and they ask us, can you repeat the number? Talk radio really works as well because, well, you can't tell everybody listening at the time. People take in that information, and when there's a need for it, they purchase from you.
Thanks, Alicia. Over to you, Noel. In terms of the matrix.
Yeah, so in terms of the measurables of a campaign, the metrics that are gained from the end of a campaign, you can go pretty broad in terms of one, how many ads were served and how many people clicked on them. You can go as granular as what time of day were the most ads clicked on, what day of the week were the ads clicked on, what was the performance of each individual ad size, so you can see, okay, well, this size worked, this size didn't. Maybe I need to swap it out with an alternative size. So you can go as broad and as granular as you want. And with any measurable, what you try to do is you use it to make key decisions and make informed decisions. You don't just get the reports, whether from traditional or digital, and just say, okay, well, it worked, just shelve it and move on to the next thing. Have a think about what is there and why this happened and when it happened. And you use that information, you use those reports to then build to do your next campaign, to make informed business choices, to then, move the needle for your company and hopefully be more profitable as a result.
Measurement is always, an evaluation is always the best way, especially consistent measurement and evaluation of any campaign that you are running or you are engaged in. So to know that there are reports that you can take that information from, or there are gauges such as the after calls that come in after a program is aired. It helps to send a strong message in terms of the messaging of that particular medium going out. Our time is going, but I have two more questions, and then there's another question coming in through the chat. But I just want to ask for the respective media houses trend and for the traditional media, what are you doing differently to help clients to reposition their businesses through promotion and message crafting? Because some businesses, the owners are not always able, they have something in mind, but to be able to get it out, they need help. Especially, how do you make it creative? How do you make it catchy to capture the imagination of the audience? So I ask both of you, what are you doing differently? Or are you doing something different?
So Alicia can attest to this because I know we mentioned it yesterday. There are a lot of situations where, as you said, Gail, just painting the picture, they would have something in mind of what they want to say, but they don't know how to do it. And there are many occasions where I would need to help a client in terms of crafting an SMS message or helping them find copy for their social media campaign as well, to just kind of help them along the path. And again, it's about as well showing them how to do it, because you're again teaching a man to fish. So you try to help them on that path in terms of, okay, this is what you need to consider. You need to consider a strong call to action. Where possible, you need to consider some kind of incentive. That always helps. Where possible, considering some kind of educational information, informing information, engaging information, as I would have mentioned in the presentation. All these things that myself and Alicia would do with clients on our various campaigns to help them along the path of educating them on the different platforms and how they can do it in a more strategic manner.
Yes, I totally support what Noel has said. Part of what we do is just that. We help you make your business exciting. We help you to make, yes, I need to have this product. We sit with you and we talk to you. We get the knowledge that you generally have in your head, and we craft it for you to make it what people want, because that's what we do as experts. We make that ad exciting in 30 seconds. And then we say, for more information, check out my digital platform. For more information, check out me. We make that 30 seconds such an exciting 30 seconds that I'm like, I want my face to be clean. I want to have healthy juices. I want to change my lifestyle. Or I need this service from this person to make me better, or to make what I am doing better. And by extension, then you're growing your sales. As I mentioned before, when you look at the campaigns by the bigger organizations and what we're doing with MSSMEs, it doesn't mean that you don't plan accordingly. You plan accordingly to say, this is what I want in my first campaign. I need to grow my sales. So I'm going to advertise this product, and I'm going to say my call to action message is going to be buy now. Your next month, you may say, okay, sales are progressing. I don't want to be so aggressively in people's faces, so I'm going to educate people. Because sometimes the buy now, the education behind the product and what you need to use the service or the product gets in some person's head also, whoa, wow, yes, I definitely need to change or switch to this service. And then you consistently have a brand presence there, so that you've pushed why, how, and now you're just consistently saying, I'm here for you.
That is so beautiful. I see why you have this magnetic draw and appeal to make this happen for our small businesses. But I have one more question coming through the chat, and this is to Noel. How do I know that my campaign spend isn't susceptible to digital ad fraud, such as fake reach and engagement? Excellent question.
Understood. So part of what we do here at Trend in our ad ops team, shout out to Sanji, who runs the majority of my campaigns for me. It goes back to the platforms and the certification to run on these platforms. Enable it to run campaigns on Google and programmatic advertising as we do. There are certain safeguards in place as certifications that you need to go through in order to use these platforms to run campaigns. As well, when you're setting up a campaign, there's another layer of protection where it goes through an approval process. So whenever you set up a campaign on programmatic or on Google Ad Network, it goes through an approval process before it actually goes live. Then there are safeguards once the campaign is running. There are safeguards in terms of preventing your ads to be shown on certain websites that you might not. You can create a whitelist of websites or platforms you want your ads to show on, or you can create a blacklist, ensuring that your ads are not shown on any given site that you don't want it to be shown, you know, especially when it comes to very sensitive brands and brand messaging. In terms of reporting, again, goes back to the platforms and the approval process that you have to go through in order to run on these platforms. You get certified to run on these platforms. There are very strict guidelines that go about it. Even with COVID now coming about, anything that has the word COVID or pandemic in it is heavily scrutinized. And if the platform sees that you're in breach of any rules or regulations, and these regulations are updated almost daily, your campaign is stopped and taken down from the platform. In terms of reporting, goes back to that as well. You're trusting on that the platform, again, through the approval process, that the information you're seeing coming back is correct. With all of our campaigns that we run at Trend, we allow for our campaigns we can look at them on a day-to-day basis, see how it's working. And if we realize that a campaign isn't working, it isn't spending right, the ad impressions aren't there, the clicks aren't there, the conversions that we want to see aren't there, we have no problem pausing or stopping a campaign, having to think about it with the client. Hey, something isn't working here. Let's have a deep dive. Let's see what's working, make changes, make adjustments, start back the campaign and go again.
Thanks, Noel. That was really in depth. And I know this is excellent information for our participants because there are times when you want to do something, but you're not sure how to start. And that is one of the reasons why in thinking digitally, you need to have the information from the experts who can walk you through the process. And for us here at PAYCE Digital, we are really pleased to bring our strategic partners in the form of CBC and Trend Media to share this information with us. My last question, before we make our big announcement, my last question, is there a wrong way for a business to use social media or even traditional media? Is there a right way and is there a wrong way?
Of course, with any advertising platform, there are some pitfalls. One post or one campaign can have detrimental effects on a brand, and it takes time, effort, and large sums of money to try to recover it. So that goes into that kind of, you're testing, you want to fail because you want to learn, but still you don't want to fail too hard. So it's kind of finding that middle ground in terms of finding that sweet spot. That's where we come in at Trend. We help our clients in terms of when they send us over assets, we have a look at them, we make sure, okay, this doesn't look right. Maybe you want to change this. Maybe you want to put this here. So we provide that expertise and that knowledge to our clients to help them on their journey. I would say for persons, the small businesses, the micro businesses, leverage your friends and family in terms of when you're looking to do a post or a campaign, ask them for their thoughts on it. So you get multiple viewpoints, multiple sets of feedback, so that you can try to catch a potential pitfall before it happens.
And just to follow on from Noel, yes, with radio and TV, it's a little more difficult to do it wrong because there's a stopgap. We will vet it first. And as the experts, we will say, okay, here's what's happening in your messaging. This is the possible fallback that you may have in that messaging. So before it hits radio and TV, we'll stop it first. But I understand doing your own personal social media as a small, micro, or medium-sized enterprise, you may not always get it right the first time. And Some points there would be to definitely see what is your call to action. Be clear in your message. Make sure your message is absolutely clear on what you are trying to achieve. Several times, people use social media, and Noel mentioned it in his presentation. I have a business. I'm going to advertise on social media. You just put things out there. You're not understanding what's the difference between a hit, a click. If somebody just sees it and press the X button, the impressions that has gotten, but is really of no benefit to you. So you really need to make sure, as I said before, that you understand, that you talk to the experts first, whether you choose to use trend media, whether you come here to CBC because we're the experts in traditional media, and understand where you're going, what you're doing for the growth of that business. It is critical that you use a multi-channel blended approach, understanding that you could do it sometimes and you can get it wrong. So take some expert advice first. It is not as expensive as most people think. There are packages suited for each company and exactly what you want to do. We are in an environment where we are working with people to achieve their goals.
Thank you. Well said, Alicia. Well said, both of you, Noel. And for us here at PAYCE Digital, we have a growing portfolio of small businesses that we call our PAYCE Digital Mobile Partners. And it's very easy for you to become a PAYCE Digital Mobile Partner. This allows you to receive payments digitally as well as send payments. And you can go to our website, paycedigital.com. That is PAYCE digital.com. And you go over to the mobile app tab, click on that tab, and you will just go down the page. You would see, do you want to register to become a PAYCE Digital Mobile Partner? Just click register, and it's a very simple process, extremely simple process to get you registered, get you started. And we are talking about getting you started in less than 48 hours. To get you registered, get your credentials to you, and it is absolutely free. What that does is open you up to the kind of expert information and reach to our strategic partners such as CBC, such as Trend Media, and we are announcing two special packages for our mobile partners. If you are registered, you are on this webinar right now, you can take advantage of these special packages with CBC for $1,000 plus that. This is going to be through the channels of CBC Television and Morning Barbados for 30-second news ads. That is a steal. 3 30-second anytime are the best position time ads. And then on Morning Barbados, a 7-minute interview. 7 minutes interview. That is critical time on television in that channel. And let me tell you, you are going to be the better off in terms of repositioning your business in this new environment using the traditional media. And then if there's just radio, 98.1, 94.7, or Q100.7 FM, 15 ads, we're talking $500 plus that. I mean, again, come on. And you need to be a part of these packages. And you can access these packages through being a mobile partner, a PAYCE Digital mobile partner. That is the power of partnership here, and we are exhibiting it here in our webinar, the power of partnership, working with us and our strategic partners that add value to your business. But hold on, not finishes yet. We have trend media, and we have special packages again for small businesses. If you are a PAYCE digital mobile partner, you have a SMS advertising, and that's $300 for, wait for it, 3,000 SMS messages. And this is $300 plus that. There's another package, again, SMS messaging, $450 plus that for over 5,000 SMS messaging. And then there's paid social advertising. This is another package that we're going to be making available to you through this special partnership with PAYCE Digital, CBC, and Trend Media. You can have boosting advertising for as little as $58.75 plus VAT inclusive. And these packages are strategically for our PAYCE Digital mobile partners. And then you have Google display advertising for 3 weeks, $470 plus VAT. Unbelievable packages for from our strategic partners for our portfolio of small businesses, PAYCE Digital mobile partners. If you have not registered as yet to be a mobile partner, head over to our website, pacedigital.com, click on the mobile app tab, register now, so that you can be a part of, or you can access these absolutely fantastic packages from our strategic partners. Alicia, Noel, thank you so much. I'm going to give you a few moments for your closing remarks, but thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for your time. I'm getting messages internally from within our group as well. You are hearing the messages and the questions that our participants have shared. Very good insight that they've received. So I'm going to just give you just 2 minutes or a minute to just wrap up for both of you.
First off, I want to say thanks to Gail and the PAYCE Digital team. We would have worked closely on multiple projects over the years, and I think this initiative is fantastic, providing valuable knowledge to persons from people that they see and look familiar and they can feel comfort with. Sometimes you would get information online and they're from people that don't look like you, or it doesn't resonate with you. So from it coming from someone who lives where you live, who sounds how you sound, I think will definitely help. And again, giving people the knowledge on both platforms, traditional and digital, to help them in terms of their digital journey, no matter the size of their enterprise. If you're a small business, it doesn't mean you have to think small. You can think just as strategic as these multi-million, multi-billion-dollar companies. And myself and Alicia are here to help you do that. With PAYCE Digital, you can help move that needle along in terms of being that digital transformation that is so vital in today's world, where competition is high, attention spans are low. So again, Gail, thanks to you and the PAYCE team, and thanks for everyone that would have joined on the call.
Let me join by saying thank you so much for inviting CBC to be a part of this webinar as well. As Noel would have alluded to, we are here to serve you. We are here to help your business grow and grow from strength to strength and become that multi-million-dollar company. Sometimes when we think of our micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, we think too limited, and the world is ours. The world is ours to take over. We would have seen how many persons would have started businesses during the pandemic and now have additional streams of income as a result of that. So the media is here for you. The media is here to let the audiences, our listeners, know what you have to offer and you have to take it up so that your brand becomes strong and your business is known. As Noel said, we are here. I'm sure Gail will provide our information so that you can contact us. You can ask a question, pick up the phone, call us, have a conversation with us. We have multiple people here who are willing and sitting and waiting to help you get your business up and grow up. Thank you.
Thank you. We are all about growth over here, all about growth, pushing you from one level to the next level, helping to reposition you coming out of this pandemic. And, you know, there are other shocks to the small business community, not just the pandemic, but there are some other shocks that are happening. And we here at PAYCE Digital, we are all about growth. And I want to say a big thank you to my team. I have Kayleen Henry, our Senior Marketing and Research Specialist, and we also have Leanne Phillips, our Marketing Coordinator. Of course, on behalf of my Director of Operations, Carrie Mack, and our CEO, Alison Brown Ellis, it was our pleasure to serve you by giving you this information that is so critical to get you from one level to another level. Listen out for our second webinar. We are going to be announcing that very soon, and we want to invite you to jump on in and register as quickly as that information is shared. We are here about growth. Thank you so much, and do have a fantastic day.